Yes,
That's a
sir.
good weapon. The movie shit,
I
though.
love it.
But it is what it is.
It is, but I love it.
At least you can admit it. I give you credit for that. Like the driller killer.
Yep. Exactly, but I love it. So what you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? There's some things you love, no matter how shitty they are.
Sorry, Vic. I had to start laughing. It says, there's a picture of a burger and there's like cheese falling out of it, and it says this deep fried burger explodes with cheese when you take a bite. And this black guy commented. He says, "The day I bite a burger and it nut in my mouth, I'm shooting up the block."
Shut the fuck up.
That's what it said.
Wow.
That shit was funny as hell. Okay. Nail Gun Massacre. Nail Gun Massacre was actually in our voting, and Nail Gun Massacre, it took a severe beating from Day of the Dead, so not much of a contest there either. But props to you for having Nail Gun Massacre. That is a fucking high ranking. Good Lord. Number 3. I could understand you slipping in, but you said, fuck you, I'm slipping it in and putting it in number 3. Vic defies all
Yeah,
odds.
go big or go home.
All this talk about slipping it in, who's the top, how hard it is, fucking, all this other talk, and you guys are out of control. Jesus.
We're all horned up. You gotta hide the women. So Blake, you're at number 3 now, and I'm looking at a whole list of different movies that you haven't ranked yet. So let's see what you have at number 3.
Well, number 3, now I haven't watched it since I've had kids, but, I do remember the frightening element of trying to find your kid lost somewhere in your own fucking house, and then having to go back and face all your demons. And plus, he's a writer. I'm a writer. I love this movie. House, William Catt, 1985.
That's a good fucking movie. Why do I not have House on my list? Where did I fuck up somewhere?
I think you fucked up because it was released. It was released in 1985 in a lot of places, but there are some places it was released in 1986 for whatever reason, I think. But it's listed as 1985 on IMDb, so that's why I picked it. Because I do remember it, and it distinctly does have like a 1980s feel. It's a great movie. It's horror-ish, Big Ben, of
yeah,
course.
I've already no argument there. Isn't Bull from Night Court in it?
That's Richard Mole, the guy who played Big Ben. He's also the voice of Two-Face in the Batman the Animated Series, and then he was Hugh Kane or whatever in the Scary Movie 2 parody where he was the ghost in the house. That was him too. So, yeah. Yep.
You called it, man. I mean, although it says in the U.S. it was released February 28th, 1986, but you're right, IMDb says 1985 as far as what it was, So it makes sense that I would leave it off, but it totally makes sense that you have it, too. And this was directed by Steve Miner, also. Some of these are vague as far as what the releases are, so I totally
Friday the 13th, Part 2 and 3 alumni, isn't it?
Yeah, and
Friday
Halloween
H2O,
unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we'll get into that another time. But yeah, I mean, and then Fred Decker, didn't he do the story? He also did the story for a movie that I just recently saw that I'd never seen. I watched with my kids called The Monster Squad. I'd never seen it. Fred Decker did that movie.
Really?
He wrote on this one.
I think I saw it too late in life, and I didn't have a love for it that a lot of people do. It wasn't bad, but I think a lot of people love it more than I did,
What, The Monster Squad?
Yeah. It was good. It just wasn't what everybody made it out to be. Yeah. Like, everybody loves that movie that grew up with it, but I didn't really grow up with it. Which I don't get, because I watched the Universal Monsters, but I don't remember ever watching Monster Squad, so I don't know. All right, so fellas, here's the deal. At number 2, I had the hardest debate yet. 1981 was really hard, I recall. But 1985, I feel like my number 1 and number 2, I debated this for days. I asked my wife which one I liked better because I just couldn't decide. And it hurts me to put the one at number 2 and the one at number 1. And I just couldn't really figure out which one I like more. But at the end of the day, I just kind of went with which one I watch more anymore. And so that's where I am. My number 2 is Day of the Dead. It is actually my favorite Romero movie, and probably my second favorite zombie movie in general. Period. I love Day of the Dead. You know, you fucking Joe Pilato in that movie. You know, you better not be fucking around with my time, Frankenstein. You know, just he was fucking great. Savini effects, Nicotero effects. I love Day of the Dead. It is a bleak look at the fucking military and things of that nature, and I think Day of the Dead is awesome. And it could have easily been my number one, but I could say the same for Re-Animator, Fright Night, and even Silver Bullet. So it hurts me to put Day of the Dead at number 2, and that's what the fans did as well. So I guess Day of the Dead gets number 2. It is what it is.
Yeah, well,
all right, Vic, you're up, and I'm drunk.
I guess I'll throw out my number 2 and go ahead and give a nod to Day of the Dead as well.
So Day of the Dead, you know, me, you, and the fans all had Day of the Dead at number 2 of 1985, which speaks to the quality of that movie. I know the critics kind of shit on it, which proves that they're fucking morons because they acted like it was shitty, but I prefer this over Night of the Living Dead and Dawn of the Dead. But that's just me because I think the violence in this movie is great. The head explosions, fucking Joe Pilato getting torn apart. Dude, the laughing dude getting his fucking face torn off. Great fucking movie. Vic, tell me what you like about Day of the Dead.
Pretty much everything. I mean, first of all, it's got the best zombie in the movie. Bub. And, I mean, it speaks to it that the fact that I actually have a Day of the Dead poster with an autograph on it, because obviously I'm not a zombie guy. I have 2 zombie posters.
Nope.
Night of the Living Dead and Day of the Dead. Or does it have Night of the Living Dead because I got Romero on it? You can.
Can I ask you a question? So,
yeah, what's up?
You're on a deserted island, and you get one movie, okay? It doesn't matter which one. You have to watch a vampire movie, a werewolf movie, or a zombie movie for the end of time. Which one would you choose?
Ooh.
It doesn't have to be the movie you pick. I just mean which genre.
Oh, just the genre?
Yeah, you could pick all of their movies, let's say. Let's say you only get zombies, you only get vampires, you only get werewolves. Which one do you pick?
That's tough. Well, okay, let's go into vampires.
You don't like
out.
any
That's
of them.
at the very bottom. Vampires is at the very bottom.
Okay.
So that's done.
So that's the one you like the least?
Yes. Ooh, it's tough between the other 2, though. I'm glad to say zombies.
I figured you would because you like zombie comedies like Zombieland and Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah, exactly.
Hell, even Return of the Living Dead. And Day of the Dead. Day of the Dead's not a comedy, but it has some funny parts like, I'm running this monkey farm, Frankenstein, and I want to know what the fuck you're doing with my time. That's fucking great. He's so awesome.
Yes.
Fair enough, Vic.
Yes, he's amazing.
Good choice at number 2. Well, we'll just see eye to eye on number 2. What can I say? And Blake, he's just way bringing up the rear on Day of the Dead. He said, fuck Day of the Dead. Sorry, Blake, I'm drunk.
No,
what you got at number 2,
it was on the list. Number 2 is one that really needs no introduction. You've already talked about it in your list. It was higher for me because, well, I guess, you know, vampire movies, there weren't that many great ones in the 80s. There were a few. This one, probably second place for The Lost Boys for me, but first place in terms of general scare. I think it's a little bit more scary than The Lost Boys was, you know, supposed to be. Fright Night, man, all the way. Especially the
one of them
music.
Scary to me.
Well,
yeah,
neither one of them are scary, but in terms of it, Fright Night is a lot more, you know, on the scare level, it's higher than The Lost Boys.
They both have great casts. I'll give them that. But
yeah,
Dan Andrews is awesome. Chris Sarandon does a great job.
Yeah.
Fun fucking movie. I love Fright Night. Good stuff. Good choice at number 2. And again, if this were another list, I'd have Fright Night even higher. on mine, and it could easily be number one. It's just that the ones that I have above it, I love so much. Speaking of my number one, and again, I fought this with Day of the Dead, and the fan vote actually took my side on this barely. It was neck and neck to the very end. It's Return of the Living Dead. And why do I love Return of the Living Dead so much? Well, you get Linnea Quigley dancing naked. You get Tar Man. You get Tom Matthews in a movie from Friday the 13th Part 6. You get Ooh Baby from Friday the 13th Part 5. Julius in this one. And yeah, I love Return of the Living Dead. It's good shit. You know, I just think it's an awesome fucking movie. So, I could have flip-flopped that Day of the Dead easily, but I got Return of the Living Dead at the end of the day because I watch it all the fucking time because it's funny as shit to me. More brains. And it established the whole brains thing that people think of with zombies to this day. So there we are. And Vic, all right, so let me look up and down my list here and try to fucking guess what your number one is, because, good Lord, man, I have no idea. I'm confused.
Come on, man. You gotta show Jeffrey Combs a little more respect than that, sir.
Man, I'm surprised that you like Re-Animator as much as you do. I didn't realize you liked it that much.
I fucking love that movie.
I really didn't. You couldn't even meet that fucking dude?
Sir.
That's sad. Oh, he was also in Would You Rather. I just want to throw that out there. Have you seen Would You Rather, Vic?
I have seen it.
He's an asshole in that movie, too.
I have. Yeah.
All right, so I give Re-Animator a 3. You give it a number 1. And Blake's got it low again at number 7. We're just all over the place this time around, aren't we?
We
really are.
Yeah.
This is one of those where, other than me and Blake having ghoulies at the same spot, it's been fucking everybody's all over the place. So it's kind of fun.
I like that.
So let's see.
When
I'm
we
looking
had
at Blake,
David,
and it's... Yeah. Blake, are you going to Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2 as number 1?
Of course he is.
Of course I am.
Yeah, but, I didn't think he'd be so obvious.
Well, wait till you see the list from 87 and 88.
Oh, you already made a list? Good Lord.
He's already made his number 1.
Wow.
And number 5.
Talk about Nightmare on Elm Street.
Whatever. No.
So what puts a Nightmare on Elm Street better than Fright Night, better than Silver Bullet, better than Re-Animator, Day of the Dead for you?
What puts it number 1 is based on the fact that, you had one movie before, and it was a sleeper hit. They were like, well, this is okay. We made some money. Let's put another one out. Let's rush another one out, because that's the history of Nightmare on Elm Street, is we're going to rush every fucking thing out, okay? They rush it out and start filming without Robert Englund. There's a scene that was left in the movie without Robert Englund, and then obviously it's the notorious shower sequence. Robert talks about in depth in my new book, our new book.
And you can still tell to this day that it's not him.
Oh yeah, and Jack Shoulder, Robert Englund even says it in the book. He said Jack Shoulder called him and said, if you don't get Robert, fuck, you need Robert. If you don't get Robert, I'm walking off. Okay? So, they get Robert. None of the previous people on the other Nightmare on Elm Street were on that one, as far as makeup, anything like that. So then you get this new kid, Kevin Yeager, to come in, and he blows the makeup out of the water. Nightmare 2 easily is a better makeup for Freddy than the vampire makeup in Fright Night. Just on that alone, he's wet, disgusting, with fucked up contact lenses, the teeth, the brain scene where he rips open the top of the skull so you can see the brain.
I like that. You got the body and
the transformation sequence. Yeah, and then the transformation sequence towards the end where he comes out of, he literally rips himself out of Jesse's body. That was horrifying. The fucking mutant doll.
That was cool.
At the fucking power plant. Yeah. you get all that, and then it's all of a sudden